Howdy folks, Max Mogren here in beautiful Jackson Hole, Wyoming. It's January 9th, 2014. Looking at the U.S. drought monitor. Notice the West, extreme drought, notably California, Nevada. It sucks. In telecast snow depths, this is today, January 9th. California, there's hardly any snow in the Sierras, 8 to 16 inches in the high peaks, 2 to 4 around the perimeter. There is no snow listed around Mount Shasta. And there's more snow than that on the ground in my hometown in Minnesota, throughout the Midwest. This is not normal, people. We all know this. A percent of average precipitation for the year of 2013. Look at California. Unbelievable. Just getting skunked. Less than half of normal precipitation throughout most of the state. Less than a quarter in the Bay Area and the Sierras. Okay, what does NASA say? Even small changes in the abundance or location of clouds could change the climate more than the anticipated changes caused by greenhouse gases. Small changes in the abundance and location of clouds. So what does that do? This is Chicago, January 5th, 2012, 2 years ago. Look at that sky. I took this picture. I got it from a time-lapse cam. When I was first learning about these programs, these geoengineering programs, and the impact of artificially induced cirrus cloud layers on the weather and climate. NASA says clouds and radiation, the study of clouds, where they occur, and their characteristics play a key role in the understanding of climate change. Low, thick clouds primarily reflect solar radiation and cool the surface of the Earth. High, thin clouds primarily transmit incoming solar radiation, meaning the sun gets through. At the same time, they trap some of the outgoing infrared radiation emitted by the Earth and radiate it back downward, thereby warming the surface of the Earth. Got it? High cirrus clouds, warming impact. It's like a blanket. It lets the sun in, but it traps the heat going back out. It is the greenhouse effect, literally an artificial greenhouse. These high, thin cirrus clouds are creating heat. On this day in Chicago, January 5th, 2012, it was 55 degrees. Unnaturally warm. This is the Bay Area on December 27th. A friend there took this picture, sent it to me. Notice the linear formations. Notice the high haze. I've got friends in the Bay. They say the fog is not near as pronounced as it used to be, perhaps because it's too warm. This is just a stock desktop image, beautiful image of Joshua Tree. But notice these linear clouds up here. People think that's beautiful. You know, that you'll see all sorts of pictures nowadays with these weird linear formations everywhere. And people are like, wow, the clouds are so pretty. But that's not a natural cloud there. Okay, you can see that came out of an airplane. All the way back in 1961, JFK said, "We shall propose further cooperative efforts between all nations in weather predictions and eventually in weather control." By the mid-60s, the U.S. was using weather as a weapon over the Vietnam Operation Popeye for 8 years, using silver iodide cloud seeding to flood northern Vietnam, to flood out the Viet Cong, literally using the weather as a weapon. Weather weaponry was banned officially by the UN in the late 1970s under the NMOD Treaty. Unfortunately, most people, notably the U.S., do not follow UN treaties. What do we got in the news? Geoengineering all over the place. One problem with geoengineering, once you start, you can't really stop, says the Washington Post. Biased much? Geoengineering could bring severe drought to the tropics. 7,410 results for geoengineering in a Google News search today. Again, the Washington Post telling us you can't stop once you start. I'm calling bullshit. I think it's very easy to stop and rather affordable. Here we are, bishopweather.com, Bishop, California. Thanks to Sierra Impressions Photography for their vital service here. I'm going to hit refresh. Oh, looks pretty geoengineered in California. We got that high cirrus haze. There's one little natural fluffy cloud here trying to get it up, but it can't. The thermal gradient is shut down. Natural weather suppressed by a cirrus blanket. Here's today's time lapse. Notice we got those low clouds trying to form. That moisture is getting kicked up by the mountains forming clouds, but it's not going to snow because if you look above, notice that high cirrus haze. Sporadically we see little linear formations in that haze. That's today, hazy, hazy. Again, we got those low natural clouds, maybe 12 to 14,000 feet above sea level, and then high above at 30 to 40,000 feet. we've got an unnatural looking cirrus haze with linear formations, evidence of geoengineering. Let's look at yesterday's time lapse from Bishop Weather. Feel free to pause it if you want to see things. I'm going to go in slow-mo. We'll slow it down a little. Let's see what we got. Oh, linear formations, evidence of geoengineering right from the get-go. High cirrus haze, little hole of blue. Here come the linear formations. I've watched this already. There's a normal contrail. And here they come, high linear cirrus hazes. Okay, that's all unnatural. Now here comes the stratus layer, much lower than that cirrus haze. Notice, I'm going to pause it there. I'm going to go back a little. Notice here, this is a really good image. We got our low clouds here. These are some more low clouds that are just in the foreground. Up high, we have that cirrus haze. You can see these linear formations. That is an induced cirrus haze, an artificial cirrus haze. Okay? So as we go forward, these clouds, these low clouds, look at that. The clouds are right at the level of the peaks. These clouds want to snow. They want to produce precipitation, but it's too warm. The moisture is trapped in the air because it's too hot due to that artificial cirrus haze. Thus, this moisture is just going to carry on overhead and not fall as snow. It's another dry day. Sets on California. There's Yosemite today. High cirrus haze. Oh, it cleared up a little. That's good to see. Hopefully it clears up completely, because during high pressure we shouldn't have these hazes. This is another view from Yosemite, Turtleback Dome. Look at that. This is current. Linear formations, high haze, okay? That's what we're getting. Ironically, the U.S. is freezing, but the rest of the world is in a heat wave. Notice, here's this. This is where it's purple and blue. That's below average temps. Where it's orange and brown, that's above average temps. Notice how California, Nevada, the dry parts of the U.S., are above average temps. This plays out with the record events we've seen over the last week. Notice warm in the west, cold and dry in the south, wet here in Wyoming where we're currently getting puked on, and cold, record cold and record snow in the Midwest and East Coast. Okay, notice this warmth here and dryness. Warm, warm, dry, 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 and cold and warm and dry up here. Let's go look here. This is Jackson today. This is my new blog, The Sheep Eater. Please check it out. Back to the drought monitor. Long-term trends. Just like we saw on that last map of the last week, it's dry and hot out here, and in the Midwest, it's cooler, wetter. Record drought killing California ski towns. Check out my recent video if you feel so inclined. I think I did a good job on that one. Long story short, we see these clouds in the sky every day. NASA tells us they change the climate. We live in a society that is brainwashed into thinking this is normal. How do we break this brainwashing? Street art, activism. You know, we got to raise awareness. Somebody help it out. Come on, people. Let's get out there, Jackson. Let's see some art. And global march against chemtrails, January 25th, 2014. Let's get it set up. Everybody, please. I'll leave you with this. Control oil and you control nations. Control food and you control the people. Henry Kissinger, way back in the day. Long story short, by controlling the climate, by controlling the weather, by inducing droughts and quote-unquote natural disasters, these cocksuckers like Kissinger are killing people. They're driving up food prices, they're causing turmoil, and they're making life a lot worse than it needs to be for the majority of the population on this planet. These geoengineering technologies could be used for a lot of good. We could have record snows in California. We could have plenty of water for irrigation. We could prevent disasters. Instead, these technologies are being used to cause disasters. The only way to change this is to take control of these technologies, and that's going to take everybody waking up and making a difference. So get out there, protest, street art, online, make videos, take pictures, set up a webcam, raise awareness. That's it. Take care. Thanks for listening. One love. Peace.